sleazy, garbage.
And it was no small job.
Quick turns of plot, enjoyed having to think. Whoever wrote this has never read a good book.
Hey, Gary here. Welcome to BookMob episode 59. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my most favourite writers, Norman Mailer, and his 1985 novel, Tough Guys Don't Dance. And I'm actually talking about the novel, but I'm also talking about the fact that Norman Mailer somehow managed to get the money and the backing to make a film of his book, Tough Guys Don't Dance, and that film was released with Ron O'Neill in 1987.
America's most controversial author, Norman Mailer, brings his best-selling novel to the screen.
I just received the comment cards from the first screening of my new film, Tough Guys Don't Dance. Bold, innovative, wonderful. Stinks.
Why are we talking about that?
When I think about Tough Guys Don't Dance, it's not what I would call Norman Mailer's, best novel, but it certainly is worth a read. I've read, multiple novels by Mailer over multiple periods of my life. I keep going back. I haven't read everything he's ever written, and that's great because good things come to those who wait. Anyway, Tough Guys Don't Dance was published in 1985, and it was Mailer's diversion into the detective sleazy realm. I mean, it wasn't exactly a detective novel because the character Manning is not a detective. Rather, he's a sort of a sordid character who has found himself in a difficult spot. Okay, as with many of Norman Mailer's novels, he gets to the guts of people in his characters. He certainly does. I mean, he creates great characters. His characters are always over the top. They are usually insane, sexually promiscuous, very selfish, and most likely they're mostly sociopathic. Tough Guys Don't Dance is a great, gripping, entertaining read. There's no doubt about it. The novel reveals how nasty and dangerous regular people can be and are. And I think Mailer used the setting of Provincetown on the east coast of America to demonstrate how boredom of the American dream can give rise to barbaric behavior, to bohemian behavior that goes beyond the norm. This novel, Tough Guys Don't Dance, is filled with unlikable and viciously interesting characters. The story set around Tim Madden, an ex-con and mostly an unsuccessful writer, living with a, wealthy wife who has her own sordid history, and suddenly she disappears. Madden awakens from an alcoholic bender, and he basically has alcoholic amnesia. He doesn't know what's happened. It's the 24th day of his wife departing or divorcing, separating from him, and he's woken up with all these clues as to his behavior over the previous couple of days. And he doesn't know what is real, he doesn't know what he's done, and he needs to find what he has done and who he has met. So it's really fun. I mean, it's the way that Mailer goes through Madden's sort of fractured memory in the novel from, going back, coming to the present, going back, and it does create a real sense of tension because he's not exactly a likable character. It's not someone that you'd want to meet, but at the same time, you do want to get to the nub of the truth, what actually happened. Anyway, so he wakes up. One of the things he's got a grotesque new tattoo on his arm. He's Porsche, that paid for by his wealthy wife. The front seat is covered in blood, and he's not sure if, obviously, he's going, I must have killed my wife, and I killed her in the car. And so he's from the beginning, he deceives himself by thinking, could I have done this? Because he knows, he's an ex-con, and he knows that he has not been a pure person, that he has done horrible things in the past, and suddenly he's faced with with facts that he could have been a murderer. He could have killed his wife for leaving him out of jealousy or out of madness. Anyway, so this basically, the novel follows Madden as he attempts to find out where he has been and what he has done. He's really truly a distasteful protagonist. And even though one would think he deserves everything coming to him, as a reader, you want it to be better, and you want him to discover that he is not as unpleasant as is first produced. Mailer has created an ensemble of foul characters, and we're talking about the novel here, of foul characters, uglier and nastier, much nastier than Madden himself. The book engages and thrills. However, it does kind of drag towards the end. The last, say, 30 pages really slows the novel down and gets a bit too sentimental for my nature. It kind of departs from the ugliness and nastiness of the characters and of the setting, the mise en scene. I wish it had ended. The book had ended sooner, because I struggled to maintain my leap of faith, my disbelief in the character, because it becomes too kind of easy to tie up towards the end. Still, this doesn't take it away from the entire the novel as a whole, because it is really, really gripping and entertaining. And if you want a good read, this is a book you should read. It's a bit of a mess in some respects, but it's not Mailer's best. But I loved it. I've read it multiple times. I think I've read it maybe 3 or 4 times by now. And it's one of Mailer's grittiest and ugliest stories. Some say it's when I looked up, when I was doing research, many of the critics said it's Mailer's worst novel. And but at the end of the day, you're the reader. You tell yourself how you feel about the book. And I loved it. I think it's great. Now, now we move from the novel Tough Guys Don't Dance into the movie Tough Guys Don't Dance by Norman Mailer.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Something rotten has happened.
One of the best and most original films I've ever seen.
It was brilliant.
One of the worst ever. My grandmother could do better.
I agree. You agree on what?
Excellent, crazy entertainment. Very funny.
Okay. Apparently, someone called Jonathan Rosenblum said this was Norman Mailer's best film adapted from his worst novel. And Mailer shows, a surprising amount of cinematic savvy and style. I can certainly back that up. It is one of the most weirdest but greatest. I mean, I love the film. In fact, I think I like the film, and I dare not to say this all the time. I really think the film captures Mailer's own characters, and he wrote the script along with Robert Towne. But I'm saying that the movie was tighter. It sensed, it's a bit confusing, the film. It is a bit haphazard the way he introduces characters, but the overall feeling of the film is really good. I mean, it's so entertaining. The characters are so good. It's totally worth watching, and I think you can read and watch the movie as 2 different artistic pieces. The film obviously takes the story Tough Guys Don't Dance and puts it into a film, but I think the film really, really does stand on its own, that you could have this film without the book and it would still be as entertaining and engaging as it is. Anyway, Robert Towne, who helped Mailer with the script, I always wonder how these people get money for these films that apparently no one wants to watch, because it wasn't what you would call a box office hit at the time. But Robert Towne, he wrote the Polanski's screenplay for Chinatown, which was a huge hit in its day. Anyway, this film was released in 1987, and I saw it, I think I saw it at Walker Street Cinema in North Sydney at the time. I think I might have seen it about 1988, I can't remember, and I was totally blown away. And in fact, because I read my very first Norman Mailer book in October 1989, and the reason I remember that because I was in the army and I was posted to Queensland, and on my first day of leave from my new posting, I went into town, I went to a bookshop, and I picked up Naked and the Dead. So I kind of remember it. But at the time when I watched the Tough Guys Don't Dance, I didn't know who Mailer was. I hadn't read any of his books. I didn't even know that he existed. But I remember watching the film going, man, how good is this film? And then years later, when I started reading Mailer, then I went, now I saw the film, and you get the picture. Is that I was introduced to Mailer through the film rather than from the book. Now, I can't understand. The film was not a box office success. I really can't understand why, because it is such a great, creepy, detective, sleazy film. It is so well made. I mean, Mailer really had a talent for the visual imperative. He knew how to build story. He knew how to build narrative and tension and conflict, and he did it so well. And I would urge you to hire. Okay, now it's from 1987, so we're years and decades in the future. There may be some latent sort of apprehension because it's not got the post internet age attitude towards popular culture. But I can guarantee you'll like it, and don't let the film's confusing narrative stop you watching the film, because it's really great. Anyway, I just want to say that the performances by Ryan O'Neal, Isabella Rossellini, and particularly Wings Hauser. Now look this bloke up. Look up Wings Hauser on the wherever you find stuff out. Now his character is so good in this film, and one of my favourite lines in the film is,
"Both sides of my nature are obliged to express themselves, the enforcer and the maniac. And who do we have the honor of addressing? You never met the maniac."
Wings Hauser plays the maniacal local sheriff, Luther Regency. He's unbelievable as a sociopathic demon. Hauser created a true throbbing Mailer character. The cast is outstanding and the narrative is somewhat less dense than the novel, but it does not matter because the film presented everything the novel is. This is a great movie, so entertaining, funny as fuck, ludicrous, and for me, one of the best movies ever made by a novelist. Mailer took his own work and imagined his own vision of this novel. It must have been a blast to be on the set, and I have a DVD copy from the 90s somewhere, and I can't find it. I tried to find it. I had to watch the film again on online. I couldn't find my original DVD copy. And I must admit, it's kind of hard to find now, but the devil made this picture, as Norm Mailer said at the end of the movie trailer. And I'm going to put the link to the YouTube movie trailer because it's so wonderful. It's one of the best trailers for a film I've ever seen. So if you follow this, please check out the information in the description below, because I'm going to put the link for the movie trailer, and it's so well done.
We can't let it hang out here. Where else can we?
A movie not to miss. Giant death orgy with lots of maniacs.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man. Something rotten has happened.
Now, when we talk about a writer who is well-known, he's famous. Mailer's own personal career was pretty haphazard. He, at one stage of his life, the two things I remember about Mailer, when I've read a couple of biographies about him, the one thing I remember recall is that he once, in a domestic dispute, stabbed his wife. I can't remember which wife this was because there's a number of wives. He stabbed his wife. I think it was with a fork or something like that. It wasn't like a murder attempt, but obviously I don't agree. You don't go around stabbing your partner. And the other one was that he was a big advocate because he was a very well-known liberal. He was a great advocate for prisoner reform, for prisoner rehabilitation, and sometime in either the late 70s or early